Blutbad.
Hello and welcome back to another behind the scenes toy photography video. This week I'm going to show you how to crash a starfighter into a city. I call this shot, Sweep the Area. I've kept things pretty simple for the last few weeks, so for this video I decided to go big. I have this great 3D printed X-Wing S-foil modeled by LandSpeeder Luke, and I wanted to use it as a set piece, building out a whole scene around it. I also wanted to make it look like the ship had impacted into the ground, so I used pieces of broken concrete to create a ring of rubble around it. We currently don't know much about Colonel Ward, Sigourney Weaver's character from the upcoming Mandalorian movie, but we know she's a pilot, and given the actor, I also assume she's a badass. The little story I made up in my head was that she crashed her ship, took out a Stormtrooper, then laid low until she could recover some recon from her ship or something. The Empire don't take kindly to enemies killing their troops, so I also figured a squad of troopers would have been sent in to figure out what happened. With my toys posed and positioned, I added some more rubble around the set. As I mentioned before, the rubble is concrete, and I got it from smashing up some large paving stones that the previous owners of my house left laying around the property. I then filled out the background with some custom-made buildings. I made these buildings by carving and painting some large styrofoam coolers. I added a 3D printed door in front of one of the buildings, then finished my setup by adding some lighting. I used a large softbox and reflector for general ambiance, then added a small spotlight for some extra sunshine. Here's my starting image. This was a simple shot to edit. The only major change I wanted to make was extending the height of the right building. But first, I added some adjustment layers to tweak the levels and color balance. Next, I used the healing brush tool and content aware fill to remove the articulation joints on my toys. The hip joints are always the hardest because they have the most empty space. I also removed a few highlights and gaps in my background. Following those touch-ups, I used the dodge tool to lighten up my subject's features. And finally, I used the clone and stamp tool along with content aware fill and some custom brushes to extend this back wall up to the top of the frame. So once again, here's my starting image. And here's where I ended up. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and make sure to check me out on Instagram. Thanks, and until next time!